All right, building your case. We've got all the numbers. Let's do this. So gather the data, calculate your value. Do it multiple times, work with a lot of different numbers, do the math with friends, like whatever helps you get really comfortable with those numbers. Because you will need to have those numbers at your fingertips and supremely comfortable in those numbers for you to start talking to HR and your boss. Now, once you have all of that, always stand in your value. So when you are having these conversations, regardless of what the feedback is on the other side of the table, so to speak, always stand in your value. Even if you're not being paid that value, know what that value is and communicate it regularly. Also, do decide what you will or will not accept regarding pay based on your value calculation. So while we did the math in several different examples, you saw that there was a range of salary that we were seeing from the various sources. Even so, depending on what type of organization you're in, what state it's in, for a variety of reasons, the salary you're on is perhaps not even within that range. It is lower. And so that is something that you need to decide, because only you can decide what it is you will or will not accept when it is that low. Also, take every opportunity to point out the value that you bring to the organization. While we have things that are in our job descriptions that are daily responsibilities or these periodic responsibilities, even though it is in your job description, it is still bringing value, and it is worth pointing that out to HR and your bosses. And then, of course, in any areas where you are going above and beyond, where you're bringing even more value than could possibly be captured in your job description, make sure you are documenting those and communicating those to HR and your boss as regularly as feasible. And then track your victories, track metrics, track other measurables to show how good you are at your job, because all of that is great evidence to pair with the numbers to show to HR and your boss and make your case. Don't stop asking for better, more accurate compensation until they pay you your worth. While they may not have money, you know that they may not have money, or at least they say they don't have money. It doesn't mean you don't ask for it, because they need to be made aware. They need to plan accordingly for so many reasons. Even if you know they don't have the money, you still need to ask for it. Also, because unfortunately so many of LAM organizations are somewhat psychologically toxic, do not let your higher ups gaslight you or offer irrelevant excuses. Heck, even relevant excuses. They still need to pay you your worth, and it is their job to figure out how to do that. Also, don't let them tell you that they didn't budget to cover inflation/cost of living without also providing a plan for how to deal with it. Many of the companies and businesses this last year did not budget for a 9% inflation increase. This year is super weird. However, many of our organizations aren't really budgeting for cost of living increase or inflation ever. When I was working in one of my previous traditional employment jobs, this was an area that they just were not great at. And so whether your place of employment budgeted for a 2% cost of living increase or didn't budget for anything at all, regardless, it's not 9%, and they need to figure out how to get you to 9%. Otherwise, you are making less money because your money is not going as far. That is inflation. And you can't turn around to your landlord or mortgage or phone bill or what have you and say that you didn't budget for the cost increase. That doesn't fly. And so taking that principle and reality and transposing it to your place of employment, while it may seem hyperbolic to them, it is actually quite literally you have less money and they need to figure that out. That is a them problem. And it is not okay that they just didn't figure out how to budget for it. All right, don't self-censor, anticipate the no, or engage in any other thought patterns that doesn't put you first. Because we are so empathic, because we care about the work that we do, because we typically realize that there's not enough money to go around, I have seen way too many people not even ask or advocate for themselves because all of those things are present for them. And what is unfortunate is that all of those things are present and they usually will never go away. And so there will never be a good time for you to advocate for your value in terms of like when it would be convenient for your boss. So strip that away, put you first. Again, it is their job to figure it out. Also, don't accept HR/your boss telling you what you're worth. Their information and motives are suspect. Unfortunately, I have experienced and seen this way too many times. And the truth is, first of all, they're not doing their own research. And if you're at an organization that's not like a museum or archives, many times your boss has no idea what it is you actually do and how that value translates. Same for HR, unfortunately. Also, their motives are suspect. They don't want to pay you what you're asking for because then they might have to pay everybody what they're asking for. But again, that is not your problem, that is their problem. Don't let inaccurate position descriptions slide. If you are regularly being depended on to do more and that is not actually in your job description needs to change and be reassessed for more compensation. And do not let them change your job title to reflect you doing more responsibility without compensating you more. Do not take a changed job description and or a changed job title without the compensation being increased. Otherwise, you are just screwing yourself. And then don't let them pigeonhole you into a big category that isn't accurate. I got to experience this one firsthand where they just didn't like really know what an archivist was in HR, nor did they know what sort of category it should go in. So they picked the category that was more convenient for them, AKA the cheapest one for them. So don't let them do that to you. Knowing your value, priceless. Mostly because nobody else is going to do the work to figure it out. So please do this math so that you know your value because it can help inform so many other things, both in your professional and personal life. One last thing, it is going to take time. While doing the math can be easy, you can do it in an afternoon, while making your case is doable, you can put it together. It is still going to take time, whether it's time for you to sort of build up to it, to advocate for yourself, and it's going to take time with your organization because they move as slow as molasses. Also, make sure your requests are formally documented. So whether an email, notes to yourself, etc., document what sort of information you're providing and when, and especially if you're submitting formal requests for like position description update, compensation increase, etc., have dates and names of when those are taking place. Also, you likely won't get everything you ask for the first time you ask for it. And as that conversation continues, if there's not like they can't change your salary right away until July or whatever, can they give you more time off? Is there ability to be more flexible in remote working? Or what are some of the other, and in my next bullet point, other non-monetary benefits that could help supplement in the short term while they figure out how to compensate you appropriately? Also, if they are not compensating you appropriately and they continue to not compensate you appropriately, it is time to scale down your work to what they are paying you for. You are not doing yourself or them any favors by doing work differently from what they've set out with that position description. Another task to think about is, depending on where you're at with your organization, their ability to pay, their ability to proactively operate ethically with their employees and paying them their worth, it may be time to look for another job. And of course, continue building your network and investing in yourself. Those are things that you can take with you anywhere you go. They're portable. It's building yourself as someone in the industry, and that is always something that contributes to your value and future job prospects. So whether you're looking to move on or not, these are always some great activities for you to do in the meantime.